Hi, I'm Steve Shelburne, owner and operator of Shelburne RV here in beautiful Cleveland, Tennessee. Well, good morning, we're back, and I've got a beanie cap on. What's weird about that is it's cold this morning, but later this week it's supposed to be back up in the 80s and 90s. So, we talk about this, just wait 10 minutes here in Tennessee, you'll see a different weather pattern. So we're back, we've got several things to do. I got a Winnebago Sunrise that came in with some problems, and then we're gonna dive into that Imagine. If you remember us talking about that Imagine bumper pull that had a bad controller. We were unable to get the program off of it because we didn't have the $500 touchscreen. So we're going to dive into that today and see if we can get the program pulled off of that and see if Lippard was right, if that resolves that problem. So we'll have to dive into that and see. So we got several going on this morning. We had you saw that big Class A that we did last week, that we went from that mechanical roof mount awning to that nice electric awning. I thought it turned out great. I mean, it looks awesome on the camper. It definitely functions better than what the mechanical did. But evidently the customer was not happy with it because it was black on the top of the fabric, and then when it was open, it was white underneath of it. And they thought it should be black. And so, they were upset with me because I devalued their camper by putting a different color awning on there. You can't make this up. So, I don't know, guys. I don't make the groceries. I mean, we talked about that in a video, several videos back. I don't make the groceries. I literally bought the thing and put it on. This is what they got. This is what they make. Took 6 weeks to get the awning. Don't make the groceries. So, I don't know. I don't know what we're going to do on that. So, the way it goes, I guess. So the boys are in here going this morning. Mr. Lewis has actually already got this basement air, got the cover off of it. So let me show you kind of what was going on with this. We're going to do some more testing over the day as the day goes on, because it's going to be here today, and we're going to double check that it's actually working the way it's supposed to. But let me show you something was going on with that. So Mr. Lewis has got it opened up over here, and the first thing that he noticed, and he's left it just where it was at, but now we do have our test box hooked up to it, and we already have run it this morning. But notice the power management wires are unplugged. Now typically you would have these wired through the high pressure switches, but they're obviously disabled. Now that's a problem. So for that to work correctly, obviously they got to be plugged up. So his whole problem may be that, because they've been running heat pump mode. They got 35 degrees differential heat pump. Now he's going to be here for a day or so. It's supposed to warm up tomorrow, so we're going to put him down to campground right now and then let it run down there and see what we got. So back on this Imagine, and remember, this was the one, again, had the bad unity, and the tank levels are not communicating, and Lippard determined that was bad. The problem is the new one doesn't have that program on there, and there's no micro USB port on that to pull the program out. So we had to go and buy this controller right here, touchscreen, that does have the USB on there, and we're going to plug it up to that now and see if we can pull the program out of that, reinstall the new that, and then put the program back on that and see if it resolves this. Okay, so obviously kind of a frustrating situation, because that little jewel right there was almost $600. And this whole job to do this to the insurance company, aftermarket warranty company, only pays a half hour. So we're going to see how long it takes to do this, because the last one of these I did took me about 2.5 hours to get the program out and put back on the new one. But that was on a big Xbox. This Unity may not be that bad, but we're going to see. So we'll do the video and see what happens. Okay, so we've got it all up. It's uploading right now, saving configuration. You can see it right there. So now that we'll get this uploaded, we'll go ahead and change that controller out. and then we'll take and put that software back on there. So we'll see how long this takes. Okay, so there's the new Unity controller, and as you can see, the fresh tank is actually showing a level now. So he's going through and checking everything, and then we'll put the original you know, touch one back in there, but he's just going through and doing tank level sensors now. All right, so we've got the new Unity board installed, and we got the program uploaded, and so now it's talking, but still no black water, gray water, gray 2, still not reading. So the next thing we got to do is call Lippert again. I mean, we went through all the troubleshooting on this. They told us that that controller was bad. I spent $500, $600 on that controller, and it still don't work. So now another phone call. All right, so we've got the Winnebago up in our campground, as you can see, right there. Been running all day. Now, we did go ahead and change out the thermostat. The button was just really, really tough, and we've talked about that in other videos where that was the original thermostat. So it's just at a point where, you know, fortunately for them, it was something simple on the, you know, just having a wire that looks like it was loose from the power management. So, you know, we're just going to go ahead and update them on the thermostat. So we've got that done. Been running all day, no problem. So they're going to stay the night, and then it's supposed to be a little warmer tomorrow. Retest in the morning, see what happens. All right, so the Imagine, I've been on the phone with Lippert, and it looks like the controller's working, but we do have, it looks like in the gray water tank, we have a sensor that's acting up. So in the morning, we're gonna put a sensor in there and retest, but so far, everything looks like it may possibly be working. So we're gonna do a little more testing on that. All right, well, several weeks ago, you guys saw us do a video with a Class A motor coach that had all the hydraulic lines were bad in it, had a hydraulic hose leaking, and we went in there and got all the hydraulic lines replaced and changed out. Customer picked up yesterday, and he called me about 10 minutes after he was gone and told me that he had gone underneath the Inman Street Bridge. Let me show you what happened. So had gone under the bridge. Of course, that's what happened to the rear air conditioner. And he thought he only got one air conditioner, but look at the front one now. It's pancaked it also. And it has damaged that outdoor coil. So unfortunately, this guy's looking at 2 air conditioner replacements. So, sucks. And this is why we talk about all the time, you gotta know your height, and you gotta pay attention to bridge heights, because this is a prime example of what happens. I mean, it was a honest mistake on his part, but yeah, unfortunately, this is what happens. So the basement there you saw yesterday that Lewis was working on, evidently it was just those 2 wires. We ran it now 2 days, and it has been cooling correctly. We did update the thermostat. The switch was having a little bit of problems, so we did go ahead and update that, but they're good to go, and they're getting ready to head out. We got this Winnebago Horizon that came in this morning, and it has got a basement air that actually is working, but the gentleman just wanted to have it serviced. Let me show you what we found. Okay, so the 6535, now you can see they've got it all washed out, and it's been working. The customer said it works great. Now, somebody's been in here doing some work, not sure what's going on, but again, the customer says it's working fine. So we are going to update. We did wash it out real good. We're going to update the outdoor bearing like you guys see us do all the time. And then Mr. Lewis has been going through checking capacitors. And we did find that the indoor fan capacitor was low. And then, of course, somebody's put these PTCs in there. We're going to go ahead and put the original Coleman PTCs back in there, and then Lewis is going to test bench run this. Now, one other thing we did find is the trunk work on this. Obviously, we needed some attention, and they're under here getting this all taped up now. But this was all coming apart. There was all kinds of foam. I don't know what Lewis was doing with all the foam, but there was a bunch of stuff they peeled off of here that was causing problems. So they're going to resolve that now. So last week you saw this 1292 that Cousin Gary was getting ready to start on. Well, he's got the Amish cooling unit in it, and this is the way to do this. The Dutch air cooling units is really the way to go on these. 3-year warranty on that cooling unit. Well, Mr. Lewis has now got this trunk up in there, and it's taped a whole lot better. They had a bunch of insulation and stuff around that, so he's got that all ready to go. And we got the the basement air is all touched up and ready. So they ran the unit actually over here on the test bench. We actually had 24 degrees differential on it. So for whatever reason, whoever was charging on that or doing what they're doing, good job, you got it right. So we did update a few of the capacitors, but they had good run temps on that, so they're going to be installing that back in the morning. So the next project here is a 02 Monaco Camelot, and this is the original InvisiShield that was on here, 3M, whatever. The shield. This is the original. Never had anything done with it since 02, and you can see, you know, it's well past its prime here. So we're going to tear into this morning. Now, the only places that we found there was a rock chip right here, as you can see, and then we've got a little bit of something going on right there, and maybe a little spot right there. But other than that, the front end of this thing looks amazing. So he actually is going to have us pull that off. He's not sure if he's going to put that back on yet. We're gonna wait and get it off. He wants to see what it looks like with it off, and then decide if he even wants to put it back on. But other than the InvisiShield, the front end of this thing looks awesome. So we're gonna start tearing to that, and we'll show you as we get done. All right, well, let's do a quick touch-up video on this Imagine with the Unity controller. Now, here's a quick way on how to lose money. So Unity controller came in, not reading tank sensors. Called LCI, got them on the troubleshooting. We did some voltage tests on the black and the gray water inputs. We had 7.4 volts. They told me it had to be 12 volts. Condemned the controller, need to buy a new controller. Obviously, this is not a cheap piece of equipment. Bought the new controller, installed it. No program was installed on the new controller. We had to pull the program off of this controller and put on the new controller before we could operate. Now, the only way you can do that is you have to have one of these LCI touchscreens, which I didn't have. $550. Got the touchscreen, downloaded the program off the old Unity, put it onto the new Unity, installed it all back in there, still no tank sensor readings. 4 phone calls later, and I've got 2 hours tied up in diag on this, and I finally was able to talk to somebody at Lippard who said, no, the voltage on that can be from 6 volts to 12 volts, so 7.4 volts is acceptable voltage output, and it's not a controller problem. Now, I've done bought this controller, I've done bought this touchscreen, and now we're finding out that that's not the situation. So, talking with her more, we finally determined that the tank sensor, one of the tank sensors was shorted out because we had put a new pigtail on it with the little resistor pack on there. And she determined that we did some testing with some ground leads and figured out that the tank sensors were bad. Changed out 2 of the tank sensors, and the thing works. So, you know, here I got a job that paid a half an hour to diag, a half an hour to R&R the controller, and now I've got 5 hours tied up in it, and I got a controller there was nothing wrong with, and a touch screen for $600 that I don't know when I'm going to use again. So, you know, great way to lose money. Very frustrating. You know, I've always said education costs money, and it does, but that was a very expensive education. And like I said, I've had 6 different technicians on the phone, and until I finally got down to the right one who could tell me the right information, you know, that's the way it goes. So there you go, a little update on the Imagine. So they've been working on this big Monaco, doing the InvisiShield on here. Now, one of the issues the customer had was the HWH system for years, and this customer was the original owner of this coach. And so what was happening for years, when he turned the ignition on, started the engine, he could go in here and air level. This one's got air levels in the bags. that air levels everything, but has gotten to the point now where when he turns ignition on, the unit keeps telling him that it's not in park. Now, we can go to accessory mode and turn it on and manually level, but we can't do an auto level. And so I just got off the phone with HWH, and for whatever reason, we've got the ground that we need for the parking lot, but for whatever reason, the board's not recognizing the parking lot. Let me show you what we got. The control board for this one sits up in here. Now, this ring, this is what they call a two-stack box. I've got the ring loose because with this bottom box up here, you can't see the LED lights that are shining up in there because that board is in the way. So we verified that the light's not lighting up on here. So he says, well, this board has got an issue and has to come back to be rebuilt. Saying that, if you go in there and take that box out right now, you've disabled this bus. Because again, all that's tied in with the air leveling system, and once you take that out, then it has no idea what it does. But there is a bypass. Let me show you that. Way up under here, underneath the front axle, and there's obviously one of these boxes around the back axle. This is what controls all of the air. Now, it's hard to see, but right there is a little T-handle. And so you've got to run that counterclockwise all the way out, and there's one on this side. You got to do the same thing there. And then what that will do is it will lock it out where the bus will only run in ride height. Now you won't be able to level, but it'll allow the air to pass through, and this thing will run at ride height so you can pull that box out. So once you put that in bypass, then this thing will run in ride height, and then we can pull that box out and send it off to HWH. Now, they just told me at HWH they lost one of their repair technicians, so I mean, we saw it on a video a while back where we had another one. I mean, it was like 2 weeks ago. We had another one of these with the air box. The box was bad, it had air leveling system. They got it turned around in about 3 weeks, which wasn't too bad. Now they're saying it could be longer because they're down a technician. So unfortunately, that's what happens. This customer is actually over about 4 hours from me. So what I'm gonna suggest is let's pull it, send it. They're finishing up the InvisiShield now. Let them take the bus, and then when we get the box back from HWH, we can do the reinstall. Speaking of the InvisiShield, this thing's turned out awesome. Let me show you what we got. You saw in the video yesterday about how bad this InvisiShield was, and you can see how beautiful this has cleaned up. Now, that right there, remember there was a chrome strip right there. And Wayne has talked about this. Wayne from Ugly Shield Removal has talked about this, but that chrome has had so much heat on it and around it that you can see where it's bubbled the paint. So he actually has a new roll of that new chrome, and we're going to put that chrome across there and just put that back over there. But you know, you guys saw how when we started with this. Now he's got the shield off. That's just the glue, and they're working now to get the glue off. But now this is the unpolished. You know, we've just got it cleaned up. And they've got to go in here and polish on this a little bit. But look how much nicer the front end of this bus looks. All right, so they've got the InvisiShield off, and you can see the transformation of how nice this turned out. You know, this down here was really, really bad, and look how nice that turned out. Now, Mr. Lewis is coming down here. We're going to go ahead and put the chrome strip back on. The customer actually had this. We're going to go ahead and put that back on there, but you can see the transformation of that really turned out so nice. So once he gets that trim on there, we'll just do a quick follow-up. So Mr. Lewis has got the chrome back on the front of this, as you can see right there. Look how nice this turned out. You can see how pretty this is. Now, obviously, that was a stone chip from, you know, just years. They're actually going to take a little paint marker and touch that up. But you see, they had that strip brand new. You can see how nice that thing turned out. That's another happy InvisiShield customer. Next project we're working on is a country coach. Now, you can see this has got a nice heavy-duty roof. But at some point, and this customer bought this with this problem, you can see the sealant situation going on here. And the manufacturer, when they built this, they put that rail on there, and you know, the rail, the sealant has started to fail. The screws are obviously, those are all failure points where sealant, water can get through the sealant. So what we're doing is we're taking the good Sikaflex. That Sikaflex, once it goes on, it stays rubbery the rest of its life. And basically what Jeremy's doing is he is covering both sides of that trim, getting those screws sealed up. And, you know, even though, you know, this thing was designed where the water is going to have to go over that anyways, but obviously it's failing with the screws and all that. So by doing that, it's going to be sealed up. I mean, this is just a better way to do this. So he's getting this finished up now, and then we're going to peel all the sealant off of that and redo that skylight and obviously that vent cover. But he's up there sealing on that now, trying to get this straightened out. All right, so we got the gentleman with the basement air all finished up. His was working great when we got done. He's heading out. Now, he's got a YouTube channel. There's his YouTube channel if you want to go on there and check it out. He's got some good videos on there. So we got him all fixed up and ready to go. So safe travels.
Steve.
I'm right here.
Found him.
Hey, I'm back. Thanks, guys, for watching. Hope you enjoyed this week's video. Please like and subscribe. Appreciate all the comments from last week's video. Gary finally found me. I was just gone, but I'm back. We got the video done. This video is Cousin Gary approved. That's him. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week.